doing it again. All right. I'm not doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. I think what we'll do is if it does it again, we'll just have to move along with the way that it is. All right. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So we restarted the live twice this morning. So what this tells me is that we must be on a roll. So let me go ahead and continue on doing what I'm doing. So we restarted the live twice today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to do the music twice, but you know what it was. You know what it is. But I want to make sure I start off the show by giving everybody an ample opportunity to get themselves together. All right. And like I said before, we're gonna contain ourselves and keep this show clean as much as possible. If we have any Trump supporters out there, I just want to give you a bit of a heads up. You might want to leave this live right now because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you. All right. We're going to be telling so much truth that your head's going to spin because while you might think you're winning, you're not winning. You're actually losing worse than you've ever lost before. All right. So do we have any Trump supporters out there? Because I got to say this before I get started. We're going to tell you so much truth, your head's going to spin. And what we don't do is we don't allow Trump supporters to be victims around us because when you think about what happened on January 6th, a lot of people say I should let it go. It happened 4 or 5 years ago or whatever. I will never, ever let go of what happened on January 6th. As far as I'm concerned, it's a tattooed memory in my brain. Every day I wake up and relive what happened on the Capitol on January 6th. All right. And especially right now when you have these protests that are going on in LA. And we'll get into that a little bit with what Gavin Newsom said. But every day is a reminder of what happened on January 6th. The more and more this incompetent person behind me continues to do what he does in the White House. So if you are a Trump supporter and you do not want me to hurt your feelings, do me a huge, huge favor right now and leave this live. And you go hang out with these fake TikTok hosts because they'll lie to you. I won't lie to you. You go hang out with them. All right. Because what I'm going to do is going to be it's going to hurt you. It's going to make you want to come up out of that cult. All right. And listen, I'm going to ruin your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, and everything in between. And if you don't want to experience that, leave, like I said, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable. But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the doors to the Thunderdome, they've officially closed. I take no accountability or responsibility for what goes on in the Thunderdome, and in particular, because I got to do what I got to do now. When people get into the box, especially the mutuals, please do me a huge favor and keep it clean because we can't suggest anything. Zeus, we can't suggest or do anything on the internet that's going to compromise what we've been building, all right? And I really do appreciate that. So, and I got to say that because a lot of people have been reaching out to me offline. Zeus, what is this? What is this? And I just got to say, I try my best to tell people, listen, I get it. Temperatures are high right now, especially with the situation that's going on in LA. All right, temperatures are high, but under no circumstances, ladies and gentlemen, should we lower our standards and start saying things that, totally poorly reflect on the good work that I've been building. All right. Because quiet as it is kept, I'm a good person and I like to spread love. Zeus. I spread love on my platform. And this is what makes them so angry. And when they get angry, all I do is I say, well, what are you angry with me about? Basically the content that I create. And I go, most of the content I play comes from your dear leaders. Take, for instance, stuff like this.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Who said that? Who said that statement, ladies and gentlemen? Was it Zeus or was it their dear leader? Right? And so this is why they hate what I do, because for some strange reason, MAGA, they don't know what their dear leader says. It's the most bizarre thing. We get them in the box. Oh, Joe Biden. What else? Barack Obama. What else? Hillary Clinton. What else? Bill Clinton. What about your dear leader? What did he say? I don't recall. What do you mean you don't recall? You don't remember when your dear leader said this?
If Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
Stop it. Oh, it's so weird.
Yeah, you don't remember this?
What's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
How do you not know this?
Donald with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
And you play what their dear leader says to them, and their brains. Oh, Joe Biden. No. You need to tell the MAGA demon, ladies and gentlemen. Like I tell the MAGA demon, go straight to hell, W. Zeus. I'm over here on X now. You know, I go on to X right now because you know what I say on X right now, and this just triggers MAGA. And all of you, I would encourage you to just do it. Just go say, I stand with Governor Gavin Newsom, W. And these folks lose their mind. They're losing their mind. And I said, wow, isn't it so interesting, MAGA? Like I said, God's judgment is truly upon this nation because every single lie your dear leader has been telling you, it's literally being flipped on its head, and we are seeing it unravel in real time. I'll give you a good example of this. What I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the lie. And once again, I got to reach it to the vault and talk to my good friend, Lawrence O'Donnell. Hey, Lawrence, could you do us a huge favor, Lawrence O'Donnell? And could you remind us all what happened on that dark, dangerous day, January 6, 2021, after Donald Trump, a.k.a. their dear leader, lost the 2020 election to guess who? President Joe Biden. Listen to this, all right? And then we'll get to judgment.
One day in Donald Trump's time as president, when he needed to call in federal troops.
Remember this?
Where he was empowered without checking with anyone to call in federal troops in the place where no governor is involved, Washington, D.C., and Donald Trump didn't do it. Rioters were beat.
We need to hold the doors of the Capitol. I need police support.
For those of you who are wondering, what am I playing? This is Lawrence O'Donnell, MSNBC, but he's playing audio from the cops being assaulted on the United States Capitol on January 6th by Donald Trump supporters. This isn't LA. This isn't what's happening in LA. This is happening at the Capitol. And keep in mind, in the backdrop, there's no there's no National Guards. There's no Marines there. This is just Trump supporters attacking law enforcement. All right. So please, if you're a Trump supporter, do me a huge favor and just zip it because I'm teaching right now. You need to learn this.
Donald Trump pardoned every one of those Trump supporters who were trying to kill those police officers.
Wow.
Every one of those Trump supporters who wanted to go and kill Mike Pence.
Wow.
For 187 minutes that day, Donald Trump did absolutely nothing. And he never, ever, for a second, considered trying to stop his supporters from trying to beat and kill police officers. It was the Vice President of the United States who technically, without authority, took over and ordered the American military into action on January 6th at the Capitol. General Mark Milley testified to the January 6th committee. Vice President Pence was very animated, and he issued very explicit, very direct, unambiguous orders. There was no question about that, and I can get you the exact quotes, I guess, from some of our records somewhere, but he was very animated, very direct, very firm to Secretary Miller, get the military down here, get the Guard down here, put down this situation, etc. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn wishes the troops got there sooner.
The structure motorized pergola.
Hold on. Now you're going to hear directly, ladies and gentlemen, from an officer that was at the Capitol. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, remember this. This is the same group of people that love to say they back the blue, but they don't back the blue. They attack the blue. All right, listen to this. This is very sad.
Never seen anyone physically assault Capitol Police or MPD, let alone witness mass assaults being perpetrated on law enforcement officers. I witnessed the rioters using all kinds of weapons against officers, including flagpoles, metal bike racks that they had torn apart, and various kind of projectiles. Officers were being bloodied in the fighting. Many were screaming, and many were blinded and coughing from chemical irritants being sprayed in their faces. I sat down on a bench in the rotunda with a friend of mine who was also a black Capitol Police officer and told him about the racial slurs I endured. I became very emotional and began yelling, "How the blank could something like this happen? Is this America?" I began sobbing.
Joining us now is former...
Do you hear this, ladies and gentlemen? That happened on January 6th. And this is why I say God's nation is truly upon the United States of America. Because what Donald Trump should have done then, what we're doing now is we're seeing him try to say this is what he's doing now against people in LA who the governor said, we don't need you to do that. Where was this energy on January 6th, right? And so I got some Trump supporters in the chat crying. They're calling me a liar. What have I lied about? All I've been doing is pressing play and sharing with you American history. And this is how it's going to be, whether you like it or not. And unfortunately, I got to do this, ladies and gentlemen. I got to warm up the lake of fire. Because somebody has to go to hell in this country. And it's not us, right? It's not the Democrats. Absolutely not. It's you, MAGA. It's you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire for these MAGA demons out here who continue to walk around here and act like they're victims of Governor Gavin Newsom. All of a sudden, you now want to be involved with the blue states and how they've been running. California is the 4th largest economy. Keep your MAGA palms, your MAGA hands to yourself. You stick to those red states and do what you do and leave us alone. Let's send them straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W, Zeus. Get W, Zeus. Now, what I want to do, ladies and gentlemen,
U.S. Capitol Police officer.
And I want to once again, I got to say this to the Trump supporters because maybe you didn't hear this yesterday, and this is a W. We're gonna have to do another round of the Lake of Fire because we just went through what happened on January 6th, right? And then this is why I say it's so ironic. Donald Trump goes to Fort Bragg. All right, let's see what he said at Fort Bragg. And listen to what he says at Fort Bragg about people who burn the American flag. All right, and you just got to keep in mind, all throughout January 6th, Trump supporters were disgracing the American flag and wiping their rear ends with it, throwing you know what all throughout the Capitol. Listen to what Donald Trump says should happen to his supporters for what they did to the American flag. You can't make this stuff up.
And he's breaking it up and making it into concrete bombs in a way, and they're dropping them on our military. They're throwing them
Gregory
at our military. Pretty good arms they had, too.
Listen to this.
Hits guys right in the face. Big chunk of concrete, worse than a brick. They're taking them up to the bridges, and they're dropping them in the cars that are going by. These are animals. But they proudly carry the flags of other countries. But they don't carry the American flag. They only burn it. Did you see a lot of the flags being burned? They weren't being burned by people from our country or from people that love our country. People that burn the American flag should go to jail for 1 year.
Oh.
That's what they should be doing.
Oh.
And we'll see if we can get that done. We're going to try and get that done. We're working with some of your senators. I know Senator Josh Hawley is very much...
Okay. So, your dear leader, and this is why I say, are you really mad at me, MAGA, or are you mad at this guy behind me? The one that's telling us these things, right? Your dear leader has now suggested that you should go to jail for a year at least because of what you did to those American flags on January 6th. And if you don't believe it, ladies and gentlemen, go rewatch the footage. Not the footage Fox News is feeding you, but watch the actual footage. Trump supporters taking down the American flag and guess what? Replacing it with what? Trump flags, so obviously, and then they were doing other things, throwing them on the ground, stomping on all these things because they lost the election to President Biden, W to the Democrats. So what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is once again, let's throw these Trump supporters into the lake of fire because somebody honestly has to go straight to hell. So we got a couple of more things that I need to get through, ladies and gentlemen, because in all seriousness, this country is heading in a direction it's never headed in before. But before we do that, I'll just say this. You know what? Let's just get straight to it. People ask me this. They say, Zeus, what do you think about what Gavin Newsom has said, Zeus? And I said, you know what? And this is why I say you got to do this, ladies and gentlemen. If you really want to do something that's standing up for the country, you got to do this to the Trump supporters, all right? Because they need to understand this is very serious. One, we stand with Governor Gavin Newsom. W to the Democrats. I need to thank. Do I need to thank Donald Trump for something? I'll say this. I'll give Donald Trump this. Fine. I'll give him some credit. Donald Trump, thank you so much for helping Governor Gavin Newsom and all the Democrats who are standing up against you. Thank you so much for helping our poll numbers go through the roof. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank you. Thank you, Trump. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, seriously, I didn't think you would do it. And then also, ladies and gentlemen, I regret to say this, but I got to get this on the record, and then I'll play what Gavin Newsom said. Thank you so much, Scorpion. Actually, we'll play Gavin Newsom first. Because, MAGA, listen up. This right here is the beginning of the end for you. You made a terrible mistake allowing your dear leader to manipulate you into invading blue states like California and activating Governor Gavin Newsom, all right?
This past weekend, federal agents conducted large-scale workplace raids in and around Los Angeles. Those raids continue as I speak. California is no stranger to immigration enforcement.
Right.
But instead of focusing on undocumented immigrants with serious criminal records and people with final deportation orders, a strategy both parties have long supported, this administration is pushing mass deportations, indiscriminately targeting hardworking immigrant families, regardless of their roots or risk.
Get him, Gavin.
What's happening right now is very different than anything we've seen before. On Saturday morning, when federal agents jumped out of an unmarked van near a Home Depot parking lot, they began grabbing people, a deliberate targeting of a heavily Latino suburb.
Wow.
A similar scene played out when a clothing company was raided downtown. In other actions, a U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested.
A U.S. citizen, 9 months pregnant, was arrested. Do you see, MAGA? The error of your ways? This is why I say God's judgment is truly upon you. Where are those so-called Christians that told us all throughout Biden's presidency how much work they did to protect women and children? God's showing the nation you're nowhere to be found because your works they're not of God. They're of the devil. W to the Democrats, and we've been exposing it. And so Gavin Newsom, ladies and gentlemen, just listen to how clear and competent he sounds when he talks. He's not talking about insane asylums. He's not talking about Hannibal Lecter. He's not talking about we had the best of this. He's laying it down for Donald J. Trump supporters. W, Rick.
Year-old girl taken, families separated, friends quite literally disappearing. In response, everyday Angelenos came out to exercise their constitutional right to free speech and assembly, to protest their government's actions. In turn, the state of California and the city and county of Los Angeles sent our police officers to help keep the peace. And with some exceptions, they were successful. Like many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest. We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets. Federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at
Hold
pretty
on.
much take it all. Fridges and dishwashers.
I hate when this thing happens and it does it, but we're gonna get through it.
At risk. That's when the downward spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose. As the news spread throughout LA, anxiety for family and friends ramped up. Protests started again. By night, several dozen lawbreakers became violent and destructive. They vandalized property.
Wow.
They tried to assault police officers. Many of you have seen the video clips of cars burning on cable news. If you incite violence, I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account.
Now, did Gavin Newsom just say it for the entire world to hear? That if you break the law and incite violence and do anything illegal, you're going to be held accountable. So why do you Trump supporters continue to lie and insist that Gavin Newsom and the Democrats are somehow defending criminals? And this is the same group of people. See, I didn't want to do the Lake of Fire, but I just thought of it and I said, I got to do it. Are these the same people, ladies and gentlemen, who voted for Donald Trump after they knew he was a convicted felon? Is this the same group of people? Is this the same group of people that said they wore the shirts? I voted for a convicted felon. I'm Hispanic and this is not true. You want to make the president. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a gift in the audience. W to the mods. Hi, Rebecca Soto. Hi, Rebecca. Please, I can set this aside for a couple of seconds. Would you mind sending us a guest request and coming up here and explaining what the heck you're talking about, Rebecca? Would you mind doing that? Hi, Rebecca. Would you come up here and explain to Big Zeus how Gavin Newsom and I might have this whole thing blown out of perspective? And by the way, Rebecca, I'm just a person on TikTok. All right, I wanted to say this to you, Rebecca. How can I make your dear leader look bad, Rebecca? I don't have any control over him. But here's the thing, Rebecca, and this is probably why I need to do the Lake of Fire, because Rebecca didn't want to come up here. The person, Rebecca, that's making your dear leader look like a terrible person is him. You know that? It's him. And you know what? I got to throw this in there. It's also you. So, Rebecca, maybe you didn't hear this from your dear leader, but this is what he thinks of you.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
And a lot of us say both. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the Lake of Fire for Rebecca and all the other Trump supporters that continue to act like Democrats are defending criminals, and then now they're saying we're making Trump look bad. No, we don't make Trump look bad. We just show you what he's doing. He makes himself look bad. And do me a huge favor, go straight to hell.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
Thank you, Kabira. I appreciate that. W. Kabira in the chat. So, if anybody else disagrees with what I am saying, you can always send me a guest request. All right, I'll set aside the content that I'm playing for you. All right, and I will try to openly and honestly hear you out. But here's the thing: we're at a point now where we got to stop lying about what's happening, and people got to start understanding that they don't know what's really happening in a lot of these spaces, because if you go and listen to the news and you check into it yourself, for the most part, 99.9% of LA is doing fine. People are walking around getting coffees. You know what they do, right? They get the coffee in the ice and then they shake it around trying to find love. You know what I'm talking about. LA is doing fine. California, fourth largest economy. You don't get to have the fourth largest economy without having a competent, sane person running the state. And so when you hear Trump supporters all of a sudden, where'd you come from? I came from Timbuktu, and now I want to tell you what to do in Los Angeles. Do me a favor and go straight to the dentist first. Go to the dentist first, and how about you fix those teeth in your mouth? How about you enroll in in a college or something and actually learn something? Zeus. One of the things that irritates me the most, ladies and gentlemen, and I have to say this, I really do, and Val probably could relate to it. We have a bunch of folks that have high school educations going around this app, pulling up graphs, charts, facts, data, and statistics. And then they have the audacity to try to use that data to make their arguments. But if you ask these same knuckleheads, these same knuckle draggers, what's your highest level of education? They get offended. And the reason that we have to ask you Trump supporters that question is because a lot of you have never ever written a research paper in your dark lives. You have no idea what it takes to actually come up with a thesis, a research proposal perhaps, and then what it takes to go about gathering data and then taking that data and using a beautiful word called statistics. A lot of you've never entered a statistics class in your life. You have no idea what standard deviation means. You don't even know what the word mean means. You just get out here and you think you're connecting dots, but you're making yourselves look like a bunch of, as far as I'm concerned, the biggest fools on the face of the earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to do it again. Let's warm up the lake of fire, all right? And this goes to all of you Trump supporters out there that are on TikTok. Zeus, so show me the screenshot. And then he showed me this graph from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Oh, Trump did this. He had a better economy than blah, blah, blah. No, he did not. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send him straight to hell. Thank you.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
W. Zeus. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's finish up with what Gavin Newsom is saying, and I would appreciate it, MAGA, if you would just listen to what he is saying, because who would know better about what's happening in California, right, than the governor of the California? Donald Trump hasn't delivered on any of his campaign promises. As the president of the United States, he should be bringing my egg prices down to, like he said he brought the price down 98%. Well, eggs should be 38 cents. I don't see that. The gas is supposed to be at least cut in half. I'm over here in California, and you look at the gas prices in California, $6 a gallon in some places. That's not relief. If he really cared about California, he would bring those gas prices down.
That kind of criminal behavior will not be tolerated. Full stop. Already more than 220 people have been arrested, and we're reviewing tapes to build additional cases, and people will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Again, thanks to our law enforcement officers and the majority of Angelenos who protested peacefully, the situation was winding down and was concentrated in just a few square blocks downtown. With that, that's not what Donald Trump wanted.
No.
He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. He federalized another 2,000 Guard members. He deployed more than 700 active U.S. Marines.
Wow.
These are the men and women trained for foreign combat, not domestic law enforcement. We honor their service. We honor their bravery. But we do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces. Not in L.A., not in California, not anywhere. We're seeing unmarked cars in school parking lots.
Wow.
Kids afraid of attending their own graduation.
Unmarked cars. Think about this. Unmarked cars, they're not going after the bad guys like he promised on his campaign trail. No. They're going after kids, women. And again, where are the so-called folks the so-called Christians throughout Biden's presidency? I protect women and children, Zeus. I've done it for decades. One of them even lied to me at one. I've done it for centuries. I guess they don't know what a century means, which is why I say stop showing us anything you got in your cell phones and doing the screenshot thing. You think you've been around for a century? Whoa. But this is how far they will go to humiliate and embarrass themselves. You're not protecting women and children. You're not following the good teachings of the Jesus Christ that's in the Bible. All right. People say, Zeus, are you a Christian? No, I'm not a Christian. But have I looked into the book and the survival scroll? Absolutely. And I read enough about the character Jesus Christ to know that he wouldn't be doing what you scribes and you Pharisees and you hypocrites are doing. He wouldn't be doing none of this stuff. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we have no other choice but to do it again. But before I do it, I just want to remind each and every single one of you Trump supporters of where I stand. once again, I stand with Governor Gavin Newsom. And I gotta say it, believe it or not, MAGA, because of you, his poll numbers are surging through the roof. All right. And so Gavin Newsom. I didn't, just when you start thinking things couldn't, you start wondering, what's going on. Then Gavin Newsom stood up to Donald Trump, carved out, because the one thing Donald Trump wants, we all know it, is attention. That's his goal. That's his thing. And Gavin Newsom's giving it. And, when I was growing up, and this is what I learned growing up, I used to get in trouble sometimes. There was a saying that my mom used to say, or she used to say, you don't want me meditating on your behind. W to the mom. You don't want me meditating on your behind. And what Gavin Newsom is doing is he's meditating on Donald J. Trump's behind. Okay, do what you want to do. I'm going to keep cooking on the internet. I'm going to keep releasing these videos to help you understand that you're not going to intimidate us. So, ladies and gentlemen, one last round of booze and shame. And this goes out to all the Trump supporters who continue to help Governor Gavin Newsom's poll numbers go through the roof, but at the same time, help Donald J. Trump's poll numbers go down the drain, down the toilet. They don't understand what they're doing, but they're actually helping the Democrats. Let's send them straight to hell one last time.
Silence, you MAGA daily.
All right, W to the chat. We've totally annihilated. We've totally. He's not doing a good job at all in Cali pre creation. Come on up here if you don't mind. You said who's not doing a good job pre. Come on up here. Somebody said that I'm watching too much CNN. If you don't mind, you can come on up here and update us all. Because guess what? I have a bunch of. Here he goes. Come on. Come on up here. I have a bunch of weak liberals in here, all right, including myself, and we don't know what's going on. And maybe you could help us honestly understand where we're getting it wrong. But keep in mind, we have a lot of evidence, though, and it's stuff your dear leader has said that might actually challenge you to the core. It'll make you pass out because it's going to hurt you so much once we start telling the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Trump supporter, please do me a huge favor and send me a guest request. We don't got all morning to do this. Someone release the Epstein files. Oh, you know what? That reminded me. You know what? I got to do it. I didn't want to do it, but this thing with Elon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Did Elon just release this statement? He says, I regret some of my posts about President Donald Trump last week. They went too far. I think it's time for Elon to get a dose of the lake of fire. But I got to also call this out because I know MAGA is going to somehow think this absolves their dear leader of the bomb Elon dropped. It doesn't absolve it because notice that Elon isn't saying he should have said, I apologize for dropping that bomb and accusing the former or accusing my best friend, the dear leader, of being in the Epstein files. But he didn't say that. He said some. So I don't know what that some is, to be quite honest. Is he talking about the Epstein files? Is he talking about, helping him win the election? Or is he talking about the big, beautiful bill and his criticism of that? Oh, Redneck Sage said, let him up. Ooh, you down. We got a MAGA demon on our hands. Whoa. All right, thank you. That's how you get in the box. All right. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good.
All right. What brings you to the show? Am I doing a pretty good job out there from the way you see it?
I mean, all I heard was Trump supporters get up in the box. So I mean, what do you want to talk about?
Okay. So you didn't hear any of the other stuff that I covered, the dots that I connected. You didn't hear any of that?
No, I'm sorry about that.
All right, it's all good. What do you think is?
I mean, I'm ready for anything you want to throw at me.
Okay. So let's talk about whatever is on your mind. How do you feel about the state of affairs in America right now? Do you think this country is honestly on the right track?
I do.
In what sense? Because Right now, this guy behind me, Governor Gavin Newsom, his poll numbers are surging through the roof. I see 84% of Democrats are supporting him. And basically what they're saying is your dear leader, he's actually boosting Gavin Newsom's poll numbers. What do you think about that?
You know what? I'll tell you what. The poll numbers that we all would like to watch and everything, they've been wrong every time. I mean, they were wrong. They were wrong before in 2016. They were wrong every time. I mean,
So we shouldn't trust poll numbers. We don't trust poll numbers now.
Not much. No.
Got it. I mean, it's always the same.
They were wrong. They were so sure that they were right, and then they were actually cackling and making fun, and then they were wrong, and then no, of course I don't trust the poll.
Well, what do you trust? Do you really think Gavin Newsom is a terrible governor, in your opinion?
Yeah.
And what state do you live in?
Well, how come he's waffling? Let's see, just 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or so, he was talking about how he was talking about that he didn't believe that men should be playing in women's sports, and then now all of a sudden he's flipped around and flipped on that again, and he's going and he's done some legislation to try to keep that going, and so I mean that's one thing, and then
what state did you say you're in?
I think he's a poser. I mean he's there because he's related. He's related to Pelosi, and there are only four families. Only four families that have been in power in California.
So wait a second. Governor Gavin Newsom, he's related to Nancy Pelosi?
Yes.
In what sense? I never heard that. You might be right, but I've never heard that.
He's her nephew. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, interesting. Let me ask this question. And somebody please look that up. Is this true what he's saying? I've never heard that before. But let me ask you this question. What state are you from?
Well, I live in California.
Oh, how long have you been out here?
I've been out there. I've been out here 25 years.
NorCal or Southern Cal?
Southern California.
All right. And so Governor Gavin Newsom's governor of fourth largest economy in the world. And you're saying that he's let you down. Where did he let you down at? Because we have some great companies out here, especially in Silicon Valley, right? And I'm just curious how you don't see the connection in terms of these companies in California. I don't understand. Do you not like the diversity in this state? Because there's a lot of diversity in this state. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, here's the thing. I look at it like this.
You don't answer any of my questions.
California. No, diversity's fine. I don't care about that.
Okay. Well, then if you don't care about it, then how do you justify allowing Trump to come up in here and go after people that he says are in the country illegally? Like, how does it?
That has nothing to do with diversity.
Yeah, it does. It has everything to do. We're supposed to be inclusive, right?
No, but we're not supposed to be. You aren't inclusive with people that bring into your house.
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are. You just bring random people off the street.
I had an appointment the other day. Somebody, I never met them before, but they came into the house and did a nice little inspection. It happens all the time, and they weren't. If you would have looked at them, you would have never known where they came from. So this happens.
How many people was it?
It was a few, depending on what's going on. Sometimes you have projects and stuff like that. So you got to understand, diversity is what makes California one of the strongest states in the union. Wouldn't you agree? We're pretty diverse.
What makes California one of the strongest states in the union is
so you don't like diversity?
No, diversity is fine. I love.
Okay,
diversity.
so
but I don't.
So how do you look at people and say they're in the country or not in the country? I mean, they're in the country legally or not. How do you determine that?
Whether or not they came in through the legal channels.
How do you determine that as an American though? Like you're walking down the street, would you be able to determine if I'm in the country legally or not just by looking at me?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, so do you see the issue that we have now?
Sure, I see the issue.
Right.
Yeah.
So how is Donald Trump making the assessment? Because I've heard so far he's only gotten 45 people so far with these ICE raids, but the federal government has spent at least $134 million. And women and children are being targeted, and women and children are being targeted. And in some cases, like Governor Gavin Newsom said, it was a woman that was pregnant, and it was a U.S. citizen that ICE went after.
Yeah,
do you see the issue?
I'm sure he could cherry pick one out of the thousands or whatever, but you got to understand there were 20 million people that came across the border.
And if you do the math, what's 20 million divided by 48?
20 million divided by 48. What are you talking about?
So the president has a term of 4 years, right?
Sure.
All right. And so how many months are there in a year?
12.
And then 12 times 4 is what?
48.
Okay. You see how I got there?
What I don't get what you're getting
So
at.
you said 20 million.
There were 20 million that
Okay.
came across.
So Trump has to get rid of 20 million people, right?
That'll never happen, but I hope he
Wait a second. Wait. Say that again.
that'll never happen.
Stop right there. I got you, W. Zeus. Now, and I'm following your lead. Why would it never happen?
Because number one, it'd be hard to find them. Number two, I think right now he's just going for the criminals right now.
No. Redneck. Listen, I actually think you might be the brightest person I've spoken to that supports Donald Trump because your math is incredible. Why do you think Trump won't be able? Because how many is that per month he would have to deport in your world? Do you have a calculator on you?
Well, I know it'd have to be. I know how many came in here a day, and that was like 10 to 15,000 a day. So that's
10
about
to 15,000 a day.
That's how many people came in.
Where'd you get that number
A
from?
month. I'm sorry about that. A month. No. It was a day. A day. Yeah, per day. That's right. It was 10 to 15,000 a day. That's right.
Where'd you get that number from, if you don't
Where'd you
mind?
get the number from reports.
Okay, if you don't mind. And when I was in college, you had to do this thing called cite your sources, right?
Okay,
You're familiar with that?
I saw pictures from many different news organizations.
Well, could you cite those sources? Because what we have right now are.
Let me tell you anecdotally. Also, my mom lives in a small town in Georgia, and just in the past 4 years, there's been a huge influx of people that that are here because it was usually homogeneously black and white, and now it's. I mean, I don't care about that. I don't care, but
No, I think you care. I think what you're saying is there was a point. No, I think let me say it for you because let me say it for you.
Let me tell you something.
Well, I can say it for you because
I don't care about I don't care about what they are. I care about who they are, meaning that they're not from here and they're not American citizens. And so what that does is it floods the job market. It floods the job market. It does, absolutely does. And I'll tell you what, it also brings the wages down. It stagnates wages, and it also makes rent go up. Which is something I had.
How much is your rent?
Rent in California has gone up so much it's not even funny.
Well, how much is your rent though?
$1,900.
So, do you believe that if Trump deports these people, your rent will go down to a more reasonable rate? Like,
it will not go up as fast. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say he does get rid of 20 million people. What do you think your rent would go to?
I think it'll stay the same and not go up.
Well, why get rid of these people then? If your rent's not even going to go down,
because it would go up. Because it will go up if we don't get rid of them.
Let me ask the audience real quick. Does anyone think rent will ever go down, or do you think it'll stay the same? How about this? Does anyone think that this guy, Redneck Sage, does anyone think that the rent will stay the same the rest of his life?
No, it won't stay the same the rest of my life, but it won't.
Even if you got rid of the 20 million, it should.
It won't go up as quickly.
So even if you get rid of the 20 million, it'll still go up.
All right. Well, let me ask you this: Why then? When I moved from Kentucky to California.
So we went from Kentucky to Georgia and now California. I mean, you're all over the place. I don't know what's up with you. I am
all over the place. Yeah.
Okay, so let's bring it back down to earth for a quick second. All right. I want to make sure we address this thing though. We had 20 million people that needed to be deported. I think did you do the math and understand how many that? How many is that per month? How many is that per month? Did you get your calculator out? I want you to.
It was hundreds of thousands per month. That's all I know.
Okay, do you have a calculator on you?
I don't.
Okay, because it's over 400,000 a month.
That's about right. It sounds close.
Has Donald Trump gotten anywhere close to
No,
400,000?
of
Okay.
course not.
So when you said, I just want to make sure we close the loop on this. When you said it'll never happen, the reason you said that, and you were right, is because you know good and doggone well nobody can deport that many people per month.
No,
So
you can't.
so so that's a
So we should
failure.
try all we
So that's a
can.
failure. So when
We should
Donald
try
Trump,
as hard as we can.
okay, so and I like that that's the angle you're trying. So what would be a satisfactory number?
20 million.
No, you just admitted you can't do that.
Of course.
So give me the satisfactory amount of people you think Trump should deport, because what I want to do is do the backdoor calculations.
There won't be a satisfactory amount, but
Give me
he'll do the best he can,
four?
which is
Four. So you would be fine if he just deported four people and wasted billions of dollars to do just to get four people. That would you would be happy with that?
well, they wasted billions of dollars getting him in here.
No, Sage. Just listen to the question that I'm
What?
asking you. Would you be okay? Because I don't know what you do for a living. What do you do for a living? You don't got to be specific.
Construction.
All right. Would you rather the federal government invest in the United States of America billions and billions of dollars, or would you rather watch them waste billions and billions of dollars?
I'd rather see them spend the money and try to get as many out as.
Wait. Did you hear my question?
Yeah,
I didn't even get it. What would you
I'd like
rather
to see
see?
money go toward deportations. As many
No. That's not my question. I'm asking you point blank. Do you want to see the federal government investing billions of dollars into this beautiful country of ours, or do you want to see them wasting billions of dollars?
So spending the money on who?
I didn't. They could spend it on building invisible ferries. I don't know what. But
I
the
wanna see
point
them
is,
spend it
the
on
point is, do you want a government that's wasting billions of dollars, or do you want a government that's investing billions of dollars?
That's why I love Doge so much. Exactly why I love Doge. I mean, I'm totally in favor of Doge. I think it should be a permanent institution.
So one. All right. Okay.
All right,
so,
what? What, you got a problem with that?
No, you're just not answering my questions.
What do you want me to say?
If you could just answer the question real quickly.
Okay,
do you
sure, I'll play
want
along.
do you want a government that's wasting billions of dollars?
Of course I don't.
Okay, thank you. All right, good.
I do not believe that deporting those people is wasting money.
But how many people did you say needed to be deported? 20 million? And you said
20
that'll
million.
never happen. So if let's just do this number. If I waste $2 billion and I deport 100 people, would that be acceptable?
No, I think it would be done a lot more efficiently than that.
Yeah. So I'm glad you can kind of do the math. And so that's why I was asking you, do you have a magic number that you would say if Donald Trump deports this amount of people, I'll be proud of him? What number is that? You could just do a
can't
total amount. Obviously 20 million isn't it. What's the number?
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what it would be. But you know what? But the thing about it is I see his effort, and he's trying to do it as diligently as he can, which, and that's one thing he does. He makes promises, and he tries to keep them.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that, because I've never seen a politician really try to do that before, especially as diligently as he does.
Yeah.
And so that makes a big impact on me and my support for him.
Okay. So let's just say hypothetically he deports 3 million people. Would you salute him and say good job?
Yes, I would.
Well, could you do us all a huge favor and say thank you, President Joe Biden, for deporting, because Joe Biden deported more than that. You want to say that?
That's great.
So do you want to say thank you? Do you want to say do you say
So Joe Biden, he deported 3 million, but
he deported more than 3 million. So you just thanked Joe Biden, because Trump hasn't done that. Trump hasn't done that yet. By the way, he hasn't done that, but Joe Biden did that. Did you know that? So redneck. No, he didn't.
Oh, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
How long would it take?
You're saying that there were more people that left than came in?
Okay, it's this simple. How many people? think about this. How many people were in the country illegally before President Biden took office?
A lot.
So Trump let them in.
Nope.
Because Trump was the president before Biden, right? So you just said a lot. So you see, okay, so you see what I just proved to you? Your dear leader, he let in a lot, and Biden let out.
Like there were no ills in
Huh? Redneck, you okay? Because I'd hate to think.
Not compared to.
Because you've been around this country. How many years you've been around in this earth? You've been in this country. And you've never seen a person in this country that was here illegally since you've been born. Prior to Joe Biden, since you were born,
I've always objected to it.
Since you were born prior to Joe Biden, you've never seen anyone in this country illegally. It all happened under Joe Biden.
Of course I have.
See what I'm saying?
20 million extra did.
Okay, so here's the thing, Red.
Well, so what's that mean? Just because 3 wrongs don't make a right, 20 million wrongs don't make a right.
What I've done, Redneck, is this, and you've done an outstanding job trying your best to stay somewhat on message. What I've proven to you is that all the problems you've had with this country, you can link them to your dear leader. Because every category your dear leader should be performing in, and you compare him to the Democrat presidents before him, he's not even measuring up to them. He's underperforming.
Wrong.
And you also admitted in front of us all that Trump will never ever deport over 400,000 people per month to get to that magical number of 20 million.
He will. No.
Not. So he's never going to get to the number, right? That you said he's never going to get to the number you said he needs to get to. And then you also admitted that there were a lot of people in the country illegally while Trump was in office, which means from the way that I see it, you are admitting Trump allowed them to come in. Because let me be honest with you. Did he ever get Mexico to build that wall and make them pay for it? Did he ever accomplish?
Doesn't matter.
He didn't do it.
Matter.
He didn't do it.
No, you know why? Who blocked that? Who stopped that? Who stopped that?
Nancy Pelosi?
Democrats.
So, and this is where I'm going to do a number on you.
Democrats stopped all of his efforts to build a wall. Democrats stopped them.
So Democrats have power.
And if Harris had gotten in, the influx coming across the border would not have stopped. And he put a stop to it.
Okay, but here's the thing.
At least that at the very least.
If
is,
Harris,
is very good.
So there's two things you've done, right? So what you've thrown out there is a theory.
Theory about what?
If Harris would have gotten in, you've thrown out a theory, but what you didn't provide us with was the proof.
Proof?
Yeah, because we all could say things, right? But without any proof, it's just the theory. So you know what? Good job you created a theory, but unfortunately, theories aren't truth.
So
theories aren't truth.
You're saying she would have shut down the border?
I don't think that's what
she would have shut down the border.
Did you go read her policies?
Would she have shut down?
Did you read her policies? Because if you read the policy, you would have known what her position was on that. And she did have a border security policy. She did, and it was bipartisan. So I truly believe. I truly believe Vice President Kamala Harris. She would have done a lot better of a job than Donald Trump right now.
Like what?
A lot better. Really? Oh, she would have met her metrics. Right, she would have got her metrics. She would have got the funding. She would have gotten the funding necessary in order to make sure there was a actual legit way for people to immigrate into this country. She wouldn't have been wasting billions and billions of dollars weaponizing the federal government. Sending Marines to cities all over the country just to sit there like props for Donald Trump. She wouldn't have been wasting money. She would have been using the money to reinvest in America. Do you understand, Redneck? George Washington and presidents all the way up to Joe Biden, and you got to exclude Donald Trump from this. The main objective was to preserve and protect the Union. You do understand that, right?
Sure.
And you don't do that by taking our United States military and installing it in cities you don't like. We have bigger issues in this world to deal with.
Well,
listen. Let me ask you a question, Redneck, because now we're getting into some treason territory. Do you think the Marines should be used against American citizens, or should they be used to stand up against Russian aggression? I'm serious now. Which one?
National Guard.
Did you answer my question?
Yeah, if we're being invaded, sure. Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Should the Marines be used? Honestly, because these are people, these are Americans.
Military age men, sure.
I need you to listen to me seriously and tell the MAGA demon to relax. Should the Marines be used against Americans, or should they be used to protect Americans from countries like Russia and China?
To protect us against 20 million military.
You can't. You're struggling, bro.
I know I'm not. I know exactly what I'm saying.
When did
military age men? And what do we just have now? We just had.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Did you hear this?
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
That's what your dear leader says about you.
When you have what do we just had? We just had two people caught that were Chinese nationals that were caught trying to smuggle in biologicals.
No. Hold on. I gotta bring in help because I've already done a number on you, and this show has to go on, and I'm very concerned. And so what we'll do, and this is how I run my show, Redneck. You can stay there.
I'd like to speak to you.
You can stay there, and you're gonna still speak to me. I'm not going anywhere. Just let us continue this work. All right. There's a couple of folks there's a couple of people I hang out with. Yeah, but and you can't say this is bullying or anything like that, because you know where I learned this from? You remember when Donald Trump, him and JD Vance and Elon and all of his cabinet members bullied Zelensky? You remember that? It was like 1 versus 50.
Zelensky?
You remember that?
You mean like when the Democrats bullied him before he went into the meeting with them?
Okay, so Trump showed us all that it's okay to bring in help and get people to understand. All right, so hi Takesha, how are you?
Hey, Zoo.
Yeah, so Zelensky brought in the Democrats who were on his side.
No, he didn't.
So that's what your analogy is.
You got to go rewatch it. Just rewatch it. All right, now hold on.
So the Democrats.
Can you let Takesha try to help you?
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Redneck Sage. I appreciate that. Hi, Takesha.
Hey, Zeus. Good morning, Mr. Redneck. Good morning, Mr. Redneck.
Good morning, Miss Keisha.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
That's good. You say you work on a construction site?
Yeah.
Are there any immigrants working on the construction site you work on?
There are.
Do you sit down and eat your little cheese sandwich at lunch and laugh and talk with them?
I sure do.
Why?
What do you mean why?
You don't want them here.
I don't want them here. What are you talking about?
You said you want all of them that came across to go back.
They legally immigrated.
How do you know?
Because I know.
How do you know?
Because I know.
But how do you know?
Because my boss checks that stuff.
Does he? How do you know he checked it?
Because I know he does.
Was you sitting in the office when he checked it?
Because he's concerned about it.
Were you sitting in the office when he checked it?
No, because he's concerned about it. He does everything legit.
Okay, I can have a concern and still do something crooked.
Well, I don't think he
because I
is.
need the help for them to work.
Because I know his character.
You know his character, really?
I do know his character. That's right.
Sir, stop it. I thought I knew the man of the character of the man I was with 13 years, and then found out he wasn't at all who I thought he was. Well, so don't think you know.
That's on
somebody.
you. That was your judgment.
Don't think that you know somebody.
So you were proven wrong, weren't you?
Redneck.
There you go.
Redneck.
So maybe you're not a good judge.
Redneck.
You're going to be proven wrong as well. But let me say this to you.
I'm going to be. That's a theory.
Redneck, sir.
That's a theory you have, and
you've given a lot of theories.
No basis for it.
You've given a lot of theories, sir.
Redneck, please.
You're the one giving out the theories, talking about the. You're telling me my boss.
Redneck, please. Takesha, listen, she's not. You don't gotta crash out. These are just questions, Redneck. Takesha is just an everyday American like you. Why not show some respect
I am showing respect.
Where's your character?
I am showing respect. She just accused me and my boss of being unscrupulous.
Let me ask Takesha, did you do that?
Somebody who knows nothing. When she proved to us that she's the one who has no judgment.
You accused Kamala Harris of wanting to get in office and probably letting the border open. You made an accusation yourself. So we both made accusations. Stop being hypocritical. But let me say this. The 20 million people, that was encounters. That didn't mean that they were all let in because a lot of them were turned away. Those are encounters. Y'all got to stop letting the news source that got sued for being blatant liars and got in court and said nobody should believe what they said because they're an opinionated news source. Y'all got to stop letting them feed y'all this bull. But this is what I wanted to say, Zeus. I find it mighty strange that people that support Trump, they go against everybody that he goes against when he goes against them. Therefore, everybody he's for when he's for
thousands show up in my little tiny little town.
Sir, I'm going to say it again. The 20 million were encounters. If you go and research the Border Patrol, you will find that out. All of them didn't get in, sir.
All of them did get in.
Encounters.
It doesn't matter. They all got in because there was.
You don't get in when you're encountered.
Yes, you do.
Some of them were turned back. Oh my God!
None of them turned back.
That's the problem.
Let me tell you what. Let me tell you something. Wait a minute. Let me say something. Let me say something.
Don't understand border policy.
Let me say something. You just talk over me. That's what you're gonna do. Just talk
redneck. Let's have some decorum. What I'm trying to do with this show, because this show is pretty, people love it, whether they like what I say or not. What we want to hear are genuine conversations, and we can't hear them if you and the other guests are going at it and trying to make your point. If you got to make a point, just kind of table it, and then once Takesha says what she says, respond so we can all hear it. Because other than that, it's going to come across like you're out of control and the MAGA demon inside of you needs to be controlled. And we don't want to go to that extreme because I got tools for that. I seriously do. But I'm giving you an opportunity to actually make this all make sense to us. Takesha, is what he's saying making sense to you in any way, shape, or form?
Not at all, Zeus. Not at all.
Let me ask the audience. Let's ask the audience. Does Redneck Sage make sense to anyone in the audience? And now, Redneck, we run this like a democracy. If you don't have the votes, Redneck, Redneck, if you don't have the votes,
you know what my people say, you're not making sense either.
Zeus, what does encounters mean?
Ran into.
Means they got let in.
Zeus, does that mean that I let you in just because I ain't?
Sure it does.
No.
Let me tell you how it does.
I can encounter a thief in my yard.
I'll tell you how it does.
Go open my door and let the thief in.
Nobody saw streams of people going back over the border or going back away from the border. People saw streams coming over the border.
Okay.
Did you
people
see
coming in streams on buses all over the city. All over the city.
Did you see them?
Sure it did. Yeah.
Show us.
When?
I saw him on film. I saw him on tape.
Okay, let me say this to you. Because I hate when y'all get on my nerves with what y'all saw on film.
Oh, really?
We sat down and watched live January the 6th, and y'all keep telling us it was a fake film. So now everything y'all
what
want
was
to
a
be
fake
for,
film?
hold on.
Redneck.
Everything y'all want to be for was real. But everything that goes against what y'all believe is fake video.
Can we address that, Redneck? Now, you see how I'm doing it? I'm muting you when you need to be muted, and then when there's an opportunity for you to respond, I'm asking you to respond, because when you can't keep getting triggered because the truth is being shared. You got to stop
what's
that.
happening.
Takesha made a point. Do you accept what happened on January 6th as fact on film, which was Trump supporters assaulted our democracy and took a... No, they assaulted our democracy and they placed a dagger at the throat of it. You accept that, right? You saw the gallows for Mike Pence.
We're let in the Capitol building by the
you just believe what Tucker Carlson showed you.
Oh, I can't?
I'm disappointed.
Well, you just said
I'm disappointed.
You just said to me that you saw film of people at the border. And then I said, well, we saw film of January the 6th. So now all of a sudden, what
You saw
we
film?
saw,
Did you see them being led into the Capitol building?
sir, did you sit down and watch what went on that day?
I saw them being led in the Capitol building.
You didn't see that part. Stop the lies.
Okay,
redneck.
Did you sit down and watch what happened for yourself on the day it was happening?
I saw the people being let in.
Sir, I'm not asking you what Tucker Carlson showed.
Why? Because it's not relevant?
Hold on. When it came up January the 6th,
it was
when
censored.
The news started, it showed us people breaking into the Capitol. It showed the windows.
There was no way.
We're sitting here watching. Hold on. We're sitting here
please.
watching this live. And I mean live. You mean to tell me you don't trust your own eyes, you trust what Tucker showed you?
Well, let me tell you this. Hold on. First of all, it's not what Tucker showed me. It's a video that got released. Okay, that's number one. Number two. You can't break into the Capitol building. Those are huge steel doors. And they wait. Let me finish. Let me finish,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, hold on, Takesha. Let him finish.
May I finish?
Okay, yes, please.
You can't just break into those steel doors. They're huge and they're magnetically locked. You can't break into those doors. They don't even have windows large enough you can break into. They broke some windows.
God. So how to actually
one at a time to get into that. What happened? Let me finish. May I finish?
Yes, please finish, because I want these to be. I want the conversation to be one at a time, and then and then we have other people. But I want you to understand you're underwater. Takesha has been cooking you, but please finish.
No, she hasn't been cooking me.
Please finish.
Okay. First of all, on January 6th, the day that everything that you saw live censorship, because what happened was you didn't get to see.
Censorship.
It was planned.
I want to
hold on.
Censorship.
Well, hold on, Val. I'm going to give him about 20 more seconds, Val.
I really want to know about the 5 minutes that Tucker Carlson showed versus the 30,000 hours.
Okay, well,
fair enough. Now, Red Sage, 20 seconds. Red Sage, 20 seconds. All right, and then I got two other people who are up here, and they're hoping you can educate us on more about what you're saying. So please.
All I needed to see was enough video to see them open up the doors and let them in, and that's exactly what I saw, them ushering them in. There was nobody breaking through the doors. There was nobody breaking any doors down.
Okay.
Nobody used any weapons.
Okay. All right.
No gunfire. Nobody got killed.
Okay, I got it. Unalive. We got it, Redneck. We got
Zeus,
yes.
I just got one question, then I'm gonna let it go because my brain is scrambling like fried eggs in a skillet.
That's what truth does.
My thing is this.
I got it.
How did Ashley Babbitt get unalive? Did she come through the door and the police got her, or was she coming through a window?
Redneck, answer the question, because you said none of this happened, right?
Was she coming through a window, or did she come through?
You said no violence occurred on January 6th.
Zeus, hold on for a second.
I said nobody got killed but Ashley Babbitt.
Did she come through a window?
Nobody got killed but
Don't say that word. Say unalive. You got to use TikTok.
Was she coming through a window, or was she coming through a door?
Okay, could you answer that, Sage, and then we'll move it on to Val and Swervin, because I don't got all morning to disprove you, Sage. Sage,
which one did she come through? A window or a door?
Come on, Sage, hurry up. He's Sage. You got to hit unmute.
You got to hit unmute, Sage.
So Sage is struggling with the app.
Okay, let me say this, Zeus. Sage said that nobody could break through those windows.
He muted me. She got shot through. She got shot through the glass.
Pew-pewed. Say pew-pewed.
Okay, she was coming through the window.
Sorry.
You just told us nobody can break through those windows nor doors. Zeus, I'm done.
All right, W Takesha. Now, Sage.
Win. That's not what I said at all. At least get right. At least get it right if you're going to try to celebrate.
Okay, Sage. Okay, great. Now listen, the show. I don't go on all day long. I got a time limit. We got about 30 good more minutes, and so I appreciate you're trying to stand up and plant your flag for your dear leader. But I've brought up two other great people on TikTok, Val and Brother Swervin. And if you don't mind, let's continue this conversation. Takesha's obviously still here, but I think Val had a question about the things you were saying, and let's get that going if you don't mind.
Yeah, I mean, we all saw what happened. I mean, that's, if you want to take 5 minutes of a lie to to try to counteract 30,000 hours of tape. I can't help you, but I'm going to explain why I can't help you. Derogatory term mainly applied to white Americans perceived to be crass and unsophisticated. Sir, do you know what that is?
What are you talking about?
Just say yes or no. Come on, Sage.
What are you talking about?
He's asking a question.
Do you want me to repeat it for you?
Yes, you're repeated again.
Thank you, Sage.
I don't know exactly what you're saying.
Derogatory term mainly applied to white Americans perceived to be crass and unsophisticated.
But what about it?
What is that? What is that?
What is that?
That would be your name, sir. That would be a redneck.
Exactly.
Cooked.
That's exactly right. Woo! Oh, woo, big burn. Yeah, I'm still a redneck. So what? Come on with it. I'm crass, unsophisticated. What else you got? But I know the truth.
And that is. Exactly
but I know the truth.
That is exactly why you run down these
sophisticated
arguments.
Redneck. So Val was asking you about You were mentioning something about the live feed of January 6th.
Yes, the live feed of the live uncensored live that we got, because there was no you can't censor live videos.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Redneck, one at a time.
You sure can.
Redneck.
These are live videos. Okay.
You can censor it if you don't want your camera that way.
Jeez, redneck. I got it. Unsophisticated. Seriously. Val, please rap. Please.
Yeah. The thing is this: we all saw them use a police shield to bust out the window beside the door.
Dominic Pizon.
Yeah. A guy that actually got convicted for doing it, to bust out the windows beside the stairs to break into the Capitol when they were holding the line at the doors. Then they decided, because this is what law enforcement does, you know what? We're going to let them walk through and lead them to a direction that takes them away from the people that are in here. And that's what they did. That was a move. You remember the police officer running through and going, "Hey, follow me." And then they went up the stairs and and took them into all places that were away from the people that could get harmed, the leaders of our country. Then with Ashley Babbitt, they also used a shield to bust out a glass, and then she decided that it would be a smart idea to grab through it. There was also another person unalive that day, sir.
Who?
A heart attack in the middle of the crowd. There was also 3 to 4 officers that unalived the day after. So, sir,
that's from unrelated causes.
BS. No, it wasn't unrelated.
Yes, it was.
No, sir. One took his own life because of what he saw. Okay, so please stop with unrelated.
Please stop it.
Well, it wasn't done by. It wasn't done by the January 6th. It wasn't done by the January 6th, though.
Sage.
And here's the other thing. So wait a minute. When I don't get a chance to respond.
Now
you can once he's done. Once he's done.
Is a flagpole used to beat somebody a weapon?
Just say yes, Sage. Because if you don't say yes, you're going to open it up so that BLM and Antifa can use flagpoles. And I don't think you want to do that, right?
Keep going. Get your point.
Are you going to acknowledge? Are you going to answer the question? Just say it.
It's not one that could break down the steel door.
Is BLM or Antifa using a flagpole, using it as a weapon? Is that okay?
To beat officers.
Even worse. Sage, admit.
No,
okay, thank you.
I do not condone that activity.
Okay. Let's say it together then. Sage, with us. I don't condone those January 6 rioters, thugs, using flagpoles to assault law enforcement.
You know what's worse to me though?
Can you say it with us?
No. Let me say what's worse.
Sir, I really do want to know what's worse than trying to overthrow the U.S.
overthrow
government.
what?
Yeah, I really want to know.
There was no overthrow. There's no trying to be overthrown.
Sir, what were they trying to do?
They were not trying to overthrow anything.
What were they trying to do?
Trying to stop the procedure of inputting the new president, correct?
No, that's wrong.
That is not wrong, sir. What was going on?
That is wrong.
What were they doing?
What was going on in the Capitol that morning?
I'll tell you who they is, okay? And the they is not the January 6ers. The they is this. Is that the Constitution has a remedy in case there is any malfunction or malfeasance within the election. and that is
the capital. The Constitution is
wait a
not
minute,
a remedy.
wait a minute. It allows a remedy, and that is for a vote to be cast to find out whether or not the election can be sent back to the states.
I'm glad you went.
Okay?
I'm glad you went there. I'm glad you went there.
And so, wait a minute.
Glad
Let me
you went
finish.
there,
Let me
Redneck.
finish. Let me finish.
Hold on,
Why that
hold on,
piss
no,
off
I
red?
want to stop you right there.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me finish. Let me
Yeah,
finish.
no, I want to stop you right there. Sorry.
No, let me finish right there. Let me
We're going to
finish.
stop right there
No, I
because
want to
there
stop.
was
Let me
this
finish.
nice.
I need to finish my point. Can I finish
Hold
my
on.
point?
Okay,
It's not
how
gonna
long
make
is
any
it? How long is it going to take? Because then I got to hear
It's
from
going to take
Brother
until I
Swervin.
finish my point. I'm
No,
not.
no, well, you got
I'm not
10
going
seconds.
on tangents.
Let's do
I'm not
10
going on
seconds.
tangents. No way. I'm not going on tangents.
Okay,
I need to finish my point.
Already.
I need to finish my point. I know
Okay,
you
hurry up.
I know you want to speak. You want to jump up and try to
He
make
just told you to finish your point. Finish your point.
The point is this: is that there's a remedy in the Constitution that if there is malfeasance, believed to be malfeasance in the election, that it can come before a vote to be sent back to the states. Okay, the election can be sent back to the various states for a minimum 10 days investigation.
Okay.
And so what happened was when they were let in, happened to be 5 minutes before that vote was to occur, not the one that you all are talking about. They were trying
Okay,
to disrupt,
got it.
which was the electors.
Okay, Sage.
Well,
I
and the
heard
only
what
thing
you.
that could- I'm almost finished.
Okay, no,
I'm almost
Sage.
finished.
I'm
I'm almost
this.
finished.
I'm so done.
The only
No,
thing
you're
that could
done.
have stopped that vote.
You're done.
Was,
You're
no, I'm not
Sage,
done.
you
The
don't
only
even
thing
know
that
the
could have stopped that
Constitution,
vote.
So stop.
The only
Sage.
thing that could have stopped that
No,
vote
Sage,
was
you
a
muted.
was a
Sage, I'm gonna have to mute you because I don't got all this time to go back and forth about that. I get it. You believe
the thing
it.
is this. The thing is this, Zeus. And here's what
Thanks a
everybody
lot.
needs.
Appreciate
Stop
it.
talking. This is what everybody needs to know. The only malfeasance find in the 2020 election, what he's got was found in the 2020 elections actually came from that White House.
Oh, hold on. He left. So because he left, he dropped. He doesn't. We cooked him. Number one, W to the guest. Swerving, you didn't even get activated. But Sage, Redneck Sage, unfortunately, you just don't get to leave like that without facing judgment. Ladies and gentlemen, Sage officially has crashed out today on today's show because he couldn't handle the real truth about what happened on January 6th. Despite all of his attempts to lie and mislead the beautiful panelists, the amazing panelists, he decided that hell was probably a safer place. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up that lake of fire for Redneck Sage, who doesn't even know the meaning of his own name, but yet knows everything that happened on January 6th and somehow thinks Donald Trump is actually doing a good job. Let's send him where he belongs. Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA Dayton.
W. Zeus. All right. That's what I like to do. I like to make them tap out like that. That's to me, that's where it really does a number on me. I'm going to be smiling and thrilled all the rest of my day. We made one MAGA demon tap out. W Val, W Takesha, W Swervin. All right. Swervin.
What's up?
I want to hear from you because we didn't get you didn't get a chance to do a number on them. But what do you have to say about all of that?
Well, I mean, and if you go, I wasn't going to call him redneck. I was going to call him soggy. Because if you go and look up the definition of redneck and where it actually comes from, it's a logging term that was first used in the early 1900s. And the guys, when they had the old back and forth saws, they would get all this sawdust on the back of their necks. So they started passing out bandanas. And these were all red bandanas. They'd tie them around their necks so the sawdust wouldn't go down their shirts. And the next thing you know, they started calling each other rednecks. It used to mean something. You were a hard-working individual back in the day. And for that man, and this is what I'm very good at, is calling out the hypocrisy of MAGA and the MAGA demons. This man sat there and said, well, you got to understand, Gavin Newsom, he waffled on men in same-sex, men playing in women's sports and then turned around and supported legislation. Okay, your boy Donald Trump, he waffled on his own USMC deal. But you didn't say nothing about that. You had no energy for that whatsoever.
Bingo.
Your boy Trump sits there and lies to you, like I was in a helicopter with Willie Brown that was about to crash, and y'all were like, oh my God, poor Donald, right?
Yeah.
He sat there and lied over 200 times on television about how he signed the Vet's Choice program, and they just eat it up. They sit here and they'll say things like, well, we don't believe the polls. Remember that poll came out first 100 days? It said Donald Trump had only beat himself in the lowest polling for any other president, right?
Yeah.
They didn't believe that, but boy, a few days later, they come jumping into our lives. That's why Democrats got a 29% approval rate, and you don't know what you're talking about.
Bingo.
You don't know what you're talking about, liberal.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so you believe that poll, but you didn't believe the one that went against Mango Mussolini.
Bingo, bingo, W swerving. We caught him lying. Trump supporters lie for breakfast.
And that's what I find absolutely hysterical is they're just blatant hypocrisy. They don't even see it, Zeus. They don't even see it. And for that man to sit here and say, oh, well, they were let in. Okay, we saw the video of Dominic Pizzone busting through that window with a police shield. I wonder where he got that police shield from. He didn't bring it with him. And the first measure of violence that you see, if you watch Day of Rage, the first measure of violence that you see is when they start pushing through the bicycle barricades on the outer perimeter of the Capitol. And a female police officer got knocked back so hard, because they love protecting women, right?
Yep.
She got pushed back so hard, she ended up cracking her head open on the pavement and had to be medevaced out of there. She was one of the first. She's one of the first people injured in that, but they were let in. They weren't let in. And every time they say they were let in, Zeus, this is my shocked face.
Looks like Snuggie. There's a little bit of the Snuggie eyebrows, but W swerve.
This is the Snuggie filter. But this is always my shock face when they say stuff like that. I'm like, how can you sit here and just accept? Because I don't know about you, but when I went out on my patio, had a cup of coffee, back in and saw what was going on. And I started broadcasting live. I streamed it live as it was happening. And we saw them folks out there playing honky Kong all over the Capitol walls.
Bingo, bingo, bingo,
honky Kong. Through doors with shields. We saw internal videos of the house where they broke in windows, jumped through the window, and then opened the doors and let the rest of their people in. So just miss me with all this. They just such hypocrites, man. And I wasn't going to even talk to him about January 6th. I wanted to ask him, why is he such a hypocrite like the rest of his MAGA ilk?
Bingo ilk.
That's all they are.
Thank you. You're right. Well, here's the deal. We've annihilated him, but you all brought up very, very, very good points, all right? But, Big Zeus has to, move it along, all right, you three?
All right, Zeus, but I just wanted to offer him a washcloth to get that piss off his head because he think it's raining. Because he done let them folks piss on his head and call it rain.
I mean,
all right.
Yeah, and I just wanted to finish up with, he did two things. One in encounters, and I wanted to correct the encounters thing. The encounters, there's nothing that shows 20 million encounters. There's not. There might have been 20 million crossings at the border, but people need to understand that people go back and forth on the border at hundreds of thousands a day.
Yeah.
Okay, that's just our life as this country. But the other thing is this. There was only one thing proven and people sent to prison from January 6th. And that all had to do with fake electors. Those came from Donald J. Trump.
Bingo. 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 W, Val. All right, you three. I might have to bring you back up. Depending. Yes, what is this word?
I want to leave with this. I had a little minor procedure on Friday to fix a ruptured blood vessel in my side, right?
Wow.
And I got so many well wishes from the folks, some of the folks that I recognize from the kingdom.
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you. And this weekend is going to be one of the best weekends of my life. I have been invited by the Columbus, Ohio homeless shelter to actually come down and run their kitchen for breakfast and lunch. And I just finished up doing some prep work here for today. I'm having Healthcare Giver Appreciation Day at my house for my healthcare giver. I'm going to be making her some KFC hot wings, some homemade cut French fries, and a nice dipping sauce to go with those fries. We're going to be doing the doggone thing this weekend, and I'm thankful that they invited me because I've worked with them in the past several times. They've seen my TikTok content. They know how to cook. And this is just going to be one of. It's been a lifelong dream of mine to run my own kitchen someday.
Wow.
And because I'm disabled as I am, I don't have the ability to do it on my own. But I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna suffer through the pain, the heartache, the bruises, whatever happens. And I just want people to understand something, because I will be in a houseless shelter. The other volunteers that are going to be in this kitchen with me, you have people in there who are escaping domestic violence. And people are like, oh, you got to record this, take pictures of that. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to put these people's lives in jeopardy. It's just not going to happen. Okay. But just to get this opportunity, it means the absolute world to me. I just finished, while I was sitting here waiting to come up, I just finished sending them over the menu off the list of supplies that they sent me. So if they approve all of that, brother, we're going to be golden. And I'm going to have one of the best weekends I've ever had in my life. It is definitely going to be up there in my top 10 achievements throughout my life. I promise.
Congratulations, brother. All right. From your lips to God's ears, and you have our support, all right?
I appreciate that. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who sent me all the wishes of, get well soon. God is with you. I'm praying for you. Just thank you all so much. The kingdom has always been good to me, as well as the folks in my life, man. And thank you for hosting the kingdom. Keisha, love you as always. Val, a pleasure, sir. Any single time I see you. And I'm going to leave you with this. You all have a wonderful day. Be well, be safe, and doggone it, have fun while you do it.
All right. W Swerve.
Thank you.
W Swerve, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Thank you, everyone. Wow, 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 ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we spread love, not hate. And so, let's go back to the audience. Do we have any Trump supporters? Maybe we can speak to one Trump supporter. W Zena. Thank you, Zena. If you're a Trump supporter, please put a 1 in the chat real quickly, because I got a little bit of time left. All right, the show we got about, but I want to honestly see if there's anyone out there that's still supporting this most incompetent person that's ever occupied the White House, abandoning our allies, attacking our American citizens. Tiny Tank Top Tim Tom, I've already annihilated you, and you need to honestly do the work. All right, you're at this point obsessed. You're the first one on my show, and then you're the last one to leave. I don't get it. Let's see. Maybe No Sir. I can bring up No Sir. And let's see where we're at. I sent the guest request. Send me a guest request. Sometimes when I send the invites, they don't go through. All right. Let's see. I don't know what's going on. Let's see who this is. Nicholas, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, my man?
What's going on? How can I help you?
I just wanted to come on here and just say 3 words. Fuck Donald Trump.
Why?
It's that easy.
But you got to keep it clean. You can't do that. I mean, I forgot. My mom is listening.
I'm going to be honest with you.
You got to keep it clean, though. My mom is listening.
I'm sorry. This is the first time I'm on here, but I just wanted to let you guys know. The guy's no good. He's a piece of crap, and that's just the bottom line.
Okay.
When people are going to realize it, I have no clue.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Where are you calling from?
Lancaster, PA.
All right. All right. Well, listen.
I just want to say I apologize for cursing like I did.
All right, it's all good.
Because I know you want to keep it respectful, and I'm not trying to get nobody shut down. But I appreciate you guys for doing what you're doing.
All righty then. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Nicholas, come on back. All right. As you all can see, ladies and gentlemen, it is a show of force this morning. All right, who do we got next? No, sir. Good morning. How are you?
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm doing all right. You're back again.
Man, why you got that guy's photo in your background, man?
Oh, Gavin Newsom?
Yeah,
I stand with Governor Gavin Newsom, don't you?
No, hell no. Wasn't LA just on fire not long ago, 3 months ago?
No. You have any evidence of that? I thought you came up here to I thought you honestly came up here to defend to denounce Donald Trump. I meant
Why
for
would
what
I
happened.
Donald Trump? Donald Trump doing his thing.
Do you
doing
think
a pretty good job in my opinion?
Do you accept that using weapons to attack law enforcement is a bad thing? You accept that today?
Using weapons to who's it? What is it?
attacking law enforcement, because Trump was suggesting that that's what's going on in LA with the riots. And so I would imagine
Yes,
you would be willing to condemn anyone that's assaulting law enforcement officers, correct?
man. Listen, those are the same people that ran black people out of L.A. So why are you defending L.A.?
Who? Wait a second. What are you saying?
Yeah,
Are you
how many
defend?
black people in L.A. nowadays? One
I,
percent.
I don't know what it is, but I know black people are in LA. You saying so? Your argument is you think black people are not in LA?
Man, it's down to like 5%. They didn't took over L.A.
And where did these black people go?
After San Bernardino,
Mm,
all around, they
mm.
got pushed out.
Yeah. So you know what I call this? Misinformation mixed with
That's
racism.
not misinformation.
When did you become a racist? I'm just
When did I
curious.
become
Yeah,
racist? I've never been racist in my life.
when did it become cool to just be openly racist or prejudiced? When did that become a thing in America? I
Well,
never.
liberals made it a thing.
No.
Liberals are
Remember?
probably some of
Okay,
the
let me ask
worst
you this
racist
question:
people I know.
Which
They don't
party?
think black men can even read in school. That's how racist they are.
So which party is for DEI?
I don't know what DEI is. I
Okay,
don't live
okay.
by that. I don't subscribe to that terminology.
Okay, so you don't
Either
know.
you,
So you don't know
I don't give a
which
damn.
which party
I
was
know what
for
it
civil right?
means.
Which party was for civil rights?
We never needed that. That
Oh,
destroyed the black community. What do you
mm.
mean?
Civil rights did voting rights,
Yes.
voting rights. You know what? I'm gonna agree. It did a number because I'll be honest with you. I don't get how our brothers and sisters like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they fought for this, Harriet Tubman. You go back, a lot of people were fighting for equality, equity and things like that. And then you got this group of
Hold
people,
on. Hold
you got
on.
a group of people in this country that are of the same skin color, but they have to be some of the most ignorant people on the face of the earth. They literally are on the internet begging to be on the plantation. This is some sick stuff, sir. And
I
you should
think.
change your name to just sick, sir.
Well,
This is some sick stuff
I
you
think
all have
Martin
gotten
was
yourselves
misled.
into.
Martin was
You could
definitely
say you could,
misled.
of
Didn't he
course.
say he led his people into a burning building?
So you think
Now
Martin
we
Luther
see the
King was? So you
results.
think Martin Luther King was misled?
Yes.
But yet you benefit from the holiday and all the other
No,
things
I
that
don't
Martin Luther King,
benefit from
ladies
no
and gentlemen,
holidays. I
sir,
work on
sir,
MLK Day,
sir.
Michael
Well,
King Day.
okay. Well, you know what? You should work on MLK Day because you don't deserve anything that he's done. You don't deserve any of the freedoms and opportunities that man has lost his life for, and not just him, several others. I got to ask a question. When did it become okay to just be, like I said, prejudiced, racist, and then hate the country that you're in? Why? Why would
You
you
got to
live in a
ask your liberal
country?
friends
Why would
that.
you live in a country you don't even like? What state are you in?
Huh?
What state are
I'm
you?
not complaining about the
What state are
country.
you in?
I'm in the great state of Ohio. Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. And so,
Midwest, baby.
okay, and you've been there all your life, I imagine.
No, actually, no.
You've never left the
I
state of
lived in the
Ohio.
South a little bit for
Okay.
a little while.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so so you've never
I'm
really
well
been.
traveled now. Don't trip.
No, I'm.
I know you like to
Do you?
push your "oh, I'm so educated" agenda, Mister Education. That's what you
You
are.
have a problem with education?
I think education has its limits,
Have
and you
you
guys
ever? So
stay.
let me ask this,
You
because this is a fair.
liberals,
This is a
use
fair
education as a
question.
weapon against
This is
everybody, and it
this
doesn't
is a
work.
fair question. Now, so you have a problem with
Miseducation is
education,
what you.
because
Miseducation is the problem.
what is your highest level of education?
I graduated high school.
What
That's
else?
it. That's it. I didn't go to any. I went to
Okay.
trade school after that, but that's it.
Okay, and I respect that, because to me it's really all about the person you are, right? And I don't think we all can go to school and do things. I mean, I don't think school is
We all don't
I
want to
don't.
go to school.
I honestly don't think you have to go to school to be a good person. I don't think you have to go to school to live good in America. So that's never going to be something.
Look at these
But
liberal haters in your
but
chat.
but
Barely
sir,
graduated. Yeah, right. I
but
graduated
sir,
summa cum laude. What
stop
you
it,
talking
stop it,
about?
stop it, stop it. Sir, I'm going to stop you and just say this. I would appreciate it if folks who didn't get the education and the schooling that, some of us have gotten, I would appreciate it if y'all would stop stepping on it, so to speak, and trying to make it seem insignificant. Because education, they say knowledge is power. You understand what that means? E equals MC squared. Imagine what that does. Do you know what that does?
What
No
it do?
clue. You don't know.
You see, here we go. He acting like Gavin Newsom.
I
Hey, remember when they brought up reparations to him? What did he do? He told y'all to kick rocks, huh?
No, that's not
Yeah, he did.
necessarily what happened.
Yeah, he did.
But what you're showing me, sir, is there's still a lot more growth you need to do. And
No, I don't.
you seem like a well-to-do person, but I understand you've been compromised because what happens when you don't have a lot of the information that's needed to make a good decision, you could become easily manipulated. You know what I mean? Because it's
Yeah,
like,
I do know
you
what you
know
mean.
what, like if you don't know what the person you're dating is up to on the back end, then what they say you just got to accept it. But once you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know when they lying to you. And I'd
Yeah.
hate to use that as an example, but that's why education, in my opinion, is arguably one of the most important things you could get because no matter what happens to you in life, you'll always be able to have that education.
Yeah, but y'all
You
that
know what I'm saying?
education shouldn't override your intelligence that God gave you.
Well, it should
See,
go
y'all
with it.
put all intelligence to the side and just, oh, he said this. This is my education level.
Well,
So
don't you think they go
my
together?
intelligence is out the window.
Don't
No,
you
it
think
don't.
your
It don't.
education and your intelligence, so to speak, should go together and they should complement each other?
No,
Because
not
one
exactly.
thing, because you can have an ability to be like very quick on your feet, but if your vocabulary perhaps is limited, then you know we all can see that from people that actually are well rounded and well versed. They're going to say, well, they're naturally gifted at this, but that's all they can do. They're limited in their expansion in terms of their ability to actually communicate across different different areas in the world, right? So, for instance, I asked you, have you been in Ohio all your life? And I think you said no. You've been down south. You didn't specify where down south,
I mean,
but
you got to know where I live. I
well,
live
I
in
want to.
Cobb County,
Well,
Georgia. Yeah. I mean,
okay,
what?
okay, okay, and that's pretty awesome. But what else? Where else have you traveled?
Man, you sound like the feds now, Zeus.
Mm. So you never
And
left the
you call
country?
Jesus Christ a
You,
character,
yeah.
and you
Well,
name yourself Zeus.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's the difference between you and I. I can do it, you can't. So if I were you, I relax and just stay in the lane you're in right now. And so here's the thing: I don't think you've ever left the country. I
I
don't
don't need to
think.
leave the
I don't
country.
think
I
you
got everything
even.
I need here.
Okay. You don't even know where the passport is. I get it. All right. So you know what, sir? It's judgment time. I gotta send you to hell. It's not
Appreciate
because
that.
it's not
I
because
see
your
you soon,
education.
Dad.
No, you won't see me.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
because of your
exactly where you
education.
liberals are going.
It's not
Y'all
because of your
keep up on the
education.
BET awards and listening to these
So
celebrities.
you were
Y'all don't need
listening to
nothing
Bow
to
Wow at
do.
the BET
Nah,
Awards.
y'all
Got it,
were.
ladies and gentlemen.
Y'all
I gotta
were.
send this MAGA demon where he belongs, straight to hell.
Silence, you matter, Damon.
Zeus. I'm lost. I don't know what to do with my life, but I love coming onto your show and embarrassing myself. I just sent the guest request up there because I wanted to let people know that I'm still out here and I'm not really doing that well. That's what No Sir just did. Here's the thing. I didn't send him to hell, ladies and gentlemen, because of his education. No, no, no. That would have been terrible. I sent him straight to hell because of his lack of education. W. Zeus. His inability. His inability to actually demonstrate he gets it. All right, that's why. David will come. I sent you an invite. Do you want to come up here and be the last MAGA demon that makes an attempt to try to climb Mount Olympus? I'll give you 2 minutes. All right, because if you don't want to come up here, then you know what? It's time, unfortunately, for Big Zeus, ladies and gentlemen, to rock and roll and get up out of here. All right, and I'm giving David a little bit of time. David, going once, going twice. Sold. He is embarrassing. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen. I got to get up out of here. Yeah, Zeus. Yeah, I got to get up out of here. But once again, we had another amazing and incredible show. You all deserve a huge round of applause. We annihilated these MAGA demons. Hold on. Nutty, you said you need 1 second. All right. And what I'll do is this, Nutty. If it gets too nutty, we're gonna have to tell that that Antifa demon. It's an Antifa demon, Nutty. Not today because we got to make sure we're on the same page going forward. But Nutty, send me a guest request. I thought I accepted your invite. It didn't come through. All right, and then I honestly, ladies and gentlemen, do got to get up out of here. Nutty, I sent you an invite. Where did you go? Nutty? Well, how about this? Cancel invitation. And then we're going to send it. There you go. I sent it back, Nutty. Let's go. I don't know that. Send me a guest request. I don't see you in the guest request, Nutty. Right. Well, okay. I think he's coming back. All right. I don't know if it's technical difficulties. All right. Okay, there he is. This is my brother Nutty, who is actually certified Nutty, but we'll hear him out. Good morning, Nutty.
Don't make me come through this phone. I just needed to say this to the last guest. Can we tell the truth, please? I need for us to tell the truth, because it's one thing to choose not to go to college, and like you stated, college isn't for everyone, and I don't knock anybody who decides they don't want to go to college. There's a difference between wanting to go to college and not being able to, and being able to go to college and not wanting to go to college. Trade school is definitely a great thing. The reason why I want to talk about this dude is because he said he graduated summa cum laude. Did he not?
Yeah, he did say that. I heard him say that.
But he only matriculated from high school. Folks, this is why I'm offended. Those of us who have spent hundreds of hours in post-secondary education, those who put in the work to obtain degrees, I find it highly offensive where someone who only went to high school say that they graduated with a distinction that's not even given in high school.
Facts.
You cannot be a summa cum laude from high school. That is only a distinction for college.
Bingo.
Sir, you don't even know what a summa cum laude is. It's with highest praise. It's one of the highest academic honors awarded to college or university students. What it means is that you are in, as far as you're indicating of your GPA, you are in the top 1 to 5% of your graduating class. So I'm sending you to hell.
Oh.
Because you lied.
Bingo.
For no reason. You lied for no reason.
Don't lie on my show. Please don't.
No one's criticizing you because you only completed high school. Because you know what? In today's society, even completing high school is a big deal. So we welcome people who complete high school. But it's this level of lies and this misinformation. You want to say, I graduated with this, but you don't even know what this is.
What a sad.
Stop.
Fair enough. Well, all right,
I'm
brother.
done.
All right, W, Nutty. Thank you, brother. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So this concludes our broadcast. I want to give each and every single one of you a huge round of applause. Thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Without you, this show wouldn't be as entertaining, engaging, and educational as it is, in all honesty, again. But I also want to give one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame. And you know exactly who this goes out to. This goes out to all the Zeus haters out there, especially those of you on X who are triggered because I stand with Governor Gavin Newsom, whose poll numbers arguably are surging through the roof because of your dear leader's sheer incompetence, his failure to actually govern. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give him one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, take care and stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. We're out of here. Thank you, everyone. Seriously. aka MAGA. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at yourselves. Newsom did an outstanding job, and you know it. Thank you. I'll say thank you to Donald Trump for once. Thank you for helping Governor Gavin Newsom's poll numbers surge. See, what I'm doing is I'm connecting the dots, and they don't like it. W did. You guys weren't saying Trump while I was live. You weren't saying Trump as I was live. W. Zena Smith. These people are a bunch of. You weren't doing any of that. Wow. Rick C. Love the chant. Thank you so much. Yeah. They weren't saying. They weren't when I was speaking to them. Right, when I was speaking to them, radio silent, and then you saw what happened to Redneck Sage. I gotta throw myself into the lake of fire. Stacey Jones, thank you. Let's go. Newsom for president. Wow. Ready. Let's go. No. Newsom is not toast. You are. As a matter of fact, you're going to make me do it. Let's do it, baby. Let's do it. Drill, baby, drill. All right?
Kamala Harris's war.
You wanted me to do it.
Because you
wanted me to do it. We're on drill, baby, drill now.
100%.
And Newsom knows how to drill, baby, drill. I checked in with him. He said, I can do this.
She's against fracking, against all this stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year and a half ago, when she was getting killed.
Thank you, Newsom, for standing up.
She said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt.
Here it goes.
We're going to lower your taxes to insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack. Drill, there's a frack. She's a baby, just a blast of bigger energy. Because she knows she's gonna bang. You know she's gonna bang, kid. Right? Up in there, she wasn't just fucking against all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all the stuff, and then all of a sudden, about a year to half ago, when she was getting killed in the back, she said, I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want.
Yeah, Newsom made Trump look very weak. She's a radical.
She can't help it. We're gonna end that,
and we will
frack, and drill, baby, drill. We're gonna drill, baby, drill. We're gonna be drill so deep. We're gonna be for these guys. We're gonna drill. We're gonna take out so much money. We're gonna lower your taxes deep. Insane asylum.
Let's go. They go crazy when I say
the late great Hannibal. Drill, baby, drill. We're gonna frack.
Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal Lecter. You know what I mean? Like it's Hannibal Lecter. Let's go. Hey. Here it goes.
Insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
They do. They say,
why would he mention Hannibal Lecter?
Why would you do that?
We're going to lower your taxes.
That part.
Deep insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say it. The late, great
Hannibal.
Drill.
Hey! It always gets me every single time. Lower your taxes. You know they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal. Hey, hello, there you go. Hey, hello. We got over 500,000 likes. Wow. W. Gavin Newsom once again. What are we gonna do? We're gonna lower your taxes. Deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say. Oh, listen, baby. How much? Oh, how much you need? Okay, Tiny change out to him. He don't got that. He can barely afford a Happy Meal. But what we'll do is we'll pay off all all your debt. All right, and then after that, we're gonna lower your taxes. All right, because guess what? There's so much liquid gold underneath our feet, and all we gotta do is drill, baby, drill to get to it. All right, and then after that, we'll do a little bit of fracking. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I gotta get up out of here. Take care. Stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. We're out of here.